So when I was a kid, I did boxing and football, so needless to say, I've seen my fair share of fights, and here is my opportunity to share with the lovely world of YouTube, my favorites, the special spicy boys that I like go mwah over. Okay, I'm gonna start with the non-boxing stories because they're a little bit less cool. Cause like boxing fights are just objectively cooler because people know what to do. So I could like make it like have stakes. Where if I tell you a story of me being in a fight that's not in boxing, it's just like, oh, okay, because people go like, ah, and that's kind of easy to deal with since I've been doing boxing my whole life. If someone did MMA, they could beat my ass. I'll just say it. If someone did MMA, they could beat my ass. So don't worry. This is not me being like an ego, being like I can beat everyone. Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna get my ass beat. If you know how to wrestle, I'm fucked. But since I know how to do boxing, and since these people are little children in my stories, I don't fight children. I was also a child. I just want to make that clear, alright? I don't do that. I try not to fight anyone. Cause like, I have nothing to prove. I already did my shit. I've already fought a lot of people. I know my word, man. So worry not. I'm not that big of a fighter. I just do it for fun. Not the like street fights, the boxing part. Cool. Now that we got that cleared out of the way, let's start with this funky little time. A silly little cross-country boy tried to pick a fight with me, and so this one is amazing to me because like I told him I do boxing. I think everyone there knew I did boxing, but this guy still tried to pick a fight with me, and it was funny as fuck, cause he's a cross-country boy. He was like 5'2", 100 pounds, and there was just this time where I was just having a fucking bad day, It was just one of those days, like everything was going wrong, just life was fucking shit. I think my girlfriend at the time just broke up with me. Shit was bad, and this guy was just like so we had lockers that were right next to each other, and he was hovering like next to his locker or like above my locker, so I couldn't like get in. So I just jumped down and I was like, fuck off, and I moved him, and then I started opening my locker, and he's like, hey, don't fucking move me like that, and he got super mad, and I was just ignoring him because I was like, this homie is just not worth my time. Fuck this, So he was just like, hey, don't do that. And then like after a while of him going like, hey, I was like, what? And then he just slaps me, and I just go, and I look at him, I go, nah, and I slap him as hard as I can. I don't know why. I feel bad for this because like, I don't like hitting people, but like that day I just was off. And the reason I feel bad for this is normally people would deserve to be slapped after this, but I think I went a little bit too hard in the sheets because I'm a boxer that's known for my power punches, and this guy was 5'2", 100 pounds. So just me slapping him like pretty hard, he fell to the fucking ground and started shaking. I was like, ah, shit, And I thought that was where it was over, because usually after like a guy not flinching after he gets slapped, and then like you just falling to the ground violently shaking because you got slapped in the face so hard, I think that's when you think it's over. But after that, like every single time he saw me, he's like, I'm gonna get you back. When you least expect it, I'm gonna be at you back. And as I said, I was in cross country, and there would be times where I was in a race, and I would just be running. We're on the same team, by the way, and he would be on the sidelines, gonna be like, I'm gonna get you back, just you wait. I'm like, bro, we're on the same team. Like, I would be running up like giant fucking hills, because cross country tortures children, alright? I would be running up a giant hill, and then he would be like, I'm gonna get you back. I'm like, homie, I'm fucking dying. Shut the fuck up and let me run this race so I can win this team for you, you bitch. I'm literally helping you win. What the fuck is wrong with you? Alright, whatever. So, second off, when I was a child, I was in football, unfortunately. If you like football, no big deal. You do you, but me, the way I was raised, fuck football, because I was forced into it, All that good stuff. So I've seen a fair, decent amount of fights, but the two most memorable ones was there was this one time we I don't know why, but like after practice every day, the coach is like, "Yo, there's a girls volleyball team. Go watch that." Or like softball team, go watch that. So there was girls tennis, and they were like, "You have to watch it to support the homies." And I was like, "Man, I just want to go home." So then me and the football homies were watching it, and there was this like these tall volleyball homies watching it. And I think one of the football homies that I was with, not my homie, I just referred to him as like homie just because that's the natural state of my vocabulary. But I do not really get along with most football people, if you couldn't tell. You know? So like, I was just standing up watching this tennis match, and then one of the guys that I was with was just like just hitting on this girl the entire time, and this giant like 6'7" volleyball guy comes up to me, or comes up to him, and they're just like, "Yo, back off, that's my girl." And he's like, "Your girl's hot." And then he's like, "Back the fuck up." And he's like, "Before I start throwing hands." And this dude that I was with, so this guy, giant volleyball dude, he was ripped as fuck, like 6'7", you know? My guy was about like 5'8", you know? Not that ripped, but he was the big dog, you know? So he jumps up and just, bah! And then like they start, you know, having a good old tussle. And then one of the volleyball coaches was like, "Back it up, guys. Back it up." And he was like, the guy just pushed him out of the way and just started on this giant 6'7" dude. Just, the dude's on the floor and he just, I was just like, holy shit. I don't know, that was fun, you know? And the other time, I was just in the locker, and it was freshman football, so that, you know, big egos but small boys, you know? So I was just in my locker, just completely, like, naked except for my chony wonies, because I was changing into my football gear. And this dude just walked up to the guy next to me and was like, they started trash talking, like, "You fat fucking idiot, you piece of shit." And then like they just started slapping each other. They even started hitting each other. They were just slapping each other. And then I think one time they just slapped his titties, and I just saw his titties bounce around. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, that wasn't even that big of a deal. I just thought that was funny. And now, I don't know, there's probably more fights, but like I've been in boxing my whole life, and I've done drugs. So my memory is not that good, I'm gonna be honest with you boys. So like, there's probably a lot more that I'm forgetting, but just at this current moment in time, my mind is blank. So I think I had more. I literally had more on my list that I pulled up to make sure I don't forget it in the video. But I have done this quirky little thing that we call forgetting it in the video. So we're not going to talk about that right now. But anyways, so now that we're done with that, let's move on to what we call boxing boys. So I was boxing since I was a child, and I was a big boy child, you know, large lad. At 7th grade, I think I was 6'1", you know? If you don't know, I'm very tall and I'm 6'2". So, I was a big boy lad, and being a big lad, a big unit of a person, you know? I kind of punched hard. And I didn't know I punched hard in the beginning, because, like, I've never punched before, really, I guess. And I learned that I punched hard the first time I sparred, because like I thought I punched hard. I was at the bag and I was like, "Rah, rah, rah, yeah." But after like 2 months of like punching, they were like, "It's time. You could finally spar." And sparring was a big deal, because like I was 2 months in, but I was making heck of progress, you know. But normally, the coach doesn't let you spar until 6 months after training. But I was like there 3 hours a day, just grinding out the team, you know. So the coach was like, "Yeah, it's time. And I was excited. But I was kind of a big lad, and all the other big lads were like giant fucking men, you know, that will just destroy my shit. They've been boxing for like years. They're like 300 pounds, like, you know? So like, the only person close to my age was like half my height. Not really, but he was like 5'4", like 100 pounds, and at that time I was like 6'2", like, what was I don't fucking, who cares, but I was 6'2", and I was semi-decent beefy lad, you know. And so the sparring starts, you know, and I'm just like punching, you know, doing my little thing, and he's beating my fucking ass, because he's been doing this for years. And the coach was like, yeah, do this little quirky thing called not holding fucking back, because fuck that. So like at the time I was not comfortable with throwing hooks because I was an awkward giant boy, because I was a giant boy, and if you're a giant boy your coordination isn't that good. So like hooks off the table. So I was literally just jabbing and he was just beating my fucking ass. And then there was this one time, like after 3 rounds, like he kept knocking my mouthpiece out because I didn't have the etiquette of like learning how to bite down on a mouthpiece yet while I get punched. That's how it be. So like after a while, like I was just like, I'm gonna shit my pants because he keeps punching me in the stomach, and I didn't go to the bathroom before that, which was quite the mistake. So he was cornering me, and I was just against the ropes going like this, and he was just beating my ass, and I went, fuck! And then homie just went down, because I was a big lad at the time, and I am also known as what we call a power puncher. My power punches are quite powerful, and I am still a very powerful puncher. But at the time, I didn't really know that, so homie just went down, and I was like, cool. And I saw him go down, and I was like, fuck. And I just started running to the bathroom. It was kind of funny, though, because I was getting my ass beat this whole time. I just do this one really powerful punch, and I do this, normally you're supposed to punch like this, but he was, like, tiny, and, like, I didn't know how to box that well at the time, so I went like that, kind of, It's not proper punching etiquette, but it worked, and homie fell down. So as soon as I did that, I was like, also it was a counter punch. If you don't know, counter punches are more powerful. So on top of my already, sorry for explaining, it's just the autism, But like, anyways, power punches are more powerful because like on top of your power, it's also their power coming at you. So it's they go like that, and then you go like that. So like more momentum and stuff. So it hurts more. So that's probably why I hurt this little lad. And so it was kind of funny because as soon as this guy went down, I went fuck, and then just rushed to the bathroom, shot my brains out, came out to him just like waking up from his concussion, and then he had a giant black eye, and I was like, that's great, cool, that's how it be sometimes. And so that was my first sparring experience. I think being a like little teenager, I was a little teenager, and the first time I ever sparred, I got this guy knocked down and gave him a black eye. So needless to say, I got a pretty big ego. And it only gets worse from here because my teenage self was a dick. Alright, so second time sparring, I go up against the same guy. I go up against the little lad himself. And it is going good. It's going good. We're throwing punches. This time I've had like 4 months of training, or 3, I don't know. It was a while between first and second time sparring. But anyways, so I'm in the ring, and it's time. It's exciting because the first time was the small boy ring. This is the big boy ring where like all the actual people go to spar, So, like, we get in an actual sized ring for the first time, and I'm like, fuck yeah. So, we're moving, and my ego is pretty big at this point. So, while I'm punching him and stuff, I'm just trash talking him. I go like, is that all you got? Is that all you got? And it was pretty good. So then we start punching each other, and I just start going for his rib, because I heard chest hurts a lot. Because, like, if you don't know, in boxing, a lot of people protect their face because, face, you don't want to get hit in the face. But in reality, there's so much adrenaline and stuff, getting hit in the face is just, like, you don't really even feel it. But when you get hit in the body, that shit fucking hurts. If you don't have core strength, that shit fucking hurts. So, like, fuck the face shots. I was just going for the body, and he was going for my face because, face. So, I was, like, getting backed up because he only had, like, 2 years of training, and he was, like, fucking me up a little bit, And I was just like, fuck. So then he was backing me up, and then I got up against the ropes. Don't do that. That's a bad thing. I just got up against the ropes in a corner. And I was just trash talking him this whole time, saying, like, your mom's a hoe, whatever the fuck I was saying. And then there was this time where he went on a fucking huge ass, like, fucking spree. He was just punching. and I went boop, 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 you know? And I did this funky little thing called getting a concussion at that current moment. So there was this, like, he was punching me a little bit, and I just was trying my best not to flinch. And then, like, I kind of got a concussion, so the third punch, my vision just went black. Or, no, everything started, like, going light. Like, my whole vision was just covered in whiteness. And then it just faded into the darkness. It just faded into blackness. And then it just went white again. And then it just, like, my vision slowly came back while he was punching me. And this guy thought I was a fucking psychopath, because he was just doing a combo. And since I literally physically couldn't see at all, I was not reacting at all. I just had my hands up, and he was just going crazy. And I just was like, you know, just staring at him directly as this guy was just unleashing everything he had on me. And then when my vision came back, he was still punching me, but I wasn't really reacting because I was like, I can't see anyways, so might as well just stay calm and keep my hands up, you know? And then I came back, and then I pushed him, and I was like, there you go, baby. And I think he fucking cried at that moment, because he unleashed everything he had. I just looked at him the entire time, because I was just looking forward, because I couldn't really see, you know? And I just, like, took all of his punches and just did not react. And I think that does something to a motherfucker. So then after that, he got a little scared, so I was going for his head, and then I noticed that he was raising his hands like this. And I was like, whoa. So then I went for his head. I went like that, and I went into his body, and I was like, yeah, that was a good body shot, you know? So then I started doing that again. Head, and then body. And then I hear a giant crack. And I was like, that's weird. And then we take a break for a minute, because he's like, fuck that, we need a break. So then our coach was a dick. He was like, yeah, you're gonna get back in there, you fucking pussy. And whatever. So then we take a break, we continue. And then I continue to punch him, but when I punch his rib, what startles me, but I don't really think about it, but for a split second I was just like, huh. What got to me was when I punched his rib, it kind of was a little bit softer than I normally would expect, you know? And I just didn't really think anything of it until, like, after a while, I was just like, I was getting into it, because homie looked like he was in pain, and I was like, fuck you, that's all you got, bitch, and I was just like, fuck you, you know, just like, trash talking the shit of him. And, he quit, like halfway into the round, he was just like, fuck this, and quit, and all the coaches were making fun of him, and all the people were making fun of him, and, after that, he quit boxing for 6 months, and, we later learned that I broke his rib. So that's kind of quirky and cool. Also, I have a lot more stories, but it is 17 minutes right now in the recording session. A little bit more than 17 minutes. And I think I'm only like halfway done with my little silly stories. So I've decided to cut it here. And if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help. It will really help. I appreciate you if you do that, and even if you don't do that, I appreciate you being here. Just watching helps a lot, so thank you. But yeah, I'll come back like maybe tomorrow with another silly little video about my fighting sessions, and I'll see you next time. Alright, bye.